Hello, Miss Raylene and Eric. How y'all doing?
Hello, Elisa. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Good, and you look gorgeous as always.
Thank you. Thank you. Eric says, hello, hello, Mama. I love you very much. He says, hello, peoples.
People. Peeps.
I know. That's what I tell him. I'm a peoples.
Peoples. All right. We're going to continue part 2 of these interesting questions from my dear friend Savannah about, spiritual aspects of different living organisms. And now we're on to plants. So, Eric, maybe you can ask the Plant Collective, what's it like to be a plant? Like, what's it like day to day? Oh my God, here comes a lawnmower. Help!
It's not like survival of the fittest being a plant. It's very calm. There's not a lot of worries when it becomes bloomed. There is essentially no emotion in plants until it's planted, its formation is formed. He's talking about like the seeds before a plant becomes a plant, the seeds of it, and how it doesn't have any type of emotion at this point. Even as it's rooting and starting to grow, there's no emotion. The only type of emotion it depends on the plant, but for most plants in general, trees are very different. He's talking about like household plants or flower plants. They don't have a lot of emotion to them. They've come in with the intention to bring healing to people. There's vitamins.
Or kill them. Some are poisonous, but some, yeah.
Well, he says, Mom, that's actually a really good point right there. He says, think about poison ivy. He says a lot of people are terrified of that because it's poison ivy. It's very dangerous. What we don't know is there's such little research done about it, but that poison ivy can cure cancer. It's the way that it's extracted. It has different, hold on, don't go on a rampage, Eric. It has different properties within it. He's going on a rant about how toxic chemo is and how people are so quick to make chemicals and poison when they can go to learn something that's nature and given to us by earth. His rant.
Thank you for that. It's very informative, Eric. So are you saying that pretty much all plants and trees and components have some sort of medicinal properties, healing properties?
Yes.
Wow.
He's talking about the tree, and the tree just being right in front of your house right there is putting off oxygen. Yes. You can't breathe without oxygen. That right there is more than medicinal.
Yeah, it is. It's survival.
Yes.
Okay, so when I read plants,
Says there's not a lot that people understand about how important nature is to us and how you can survive off of every aspect on the earth.
It's amazing. We need to treat the Gaia much better than we do. So, so trees, do they have emotion? I mean,
yes, they have more of a spirit. Like you and I, however, their spirit is more pulled back. They feel like you and I do. So when you take a saw to them, it's like sawing a body in half. When they get sick, when bugs hit them, they get ill. You'll watch a plant really decrease, especially the tree, and how it goes from, a very pretty green to yellows to browns to blacks. And so you watch it really deteriorate a lot like a human body would. It has the structure. It has DNA within it on a cellular level that connects it to emotion, to a soul.
Okay, interesting. I remember watching Secret Life of Plants, and they did this experiment where this one scientist in a white coat tore up this plant in front of the others, and they were like freaking out. They're attached to electrodes and stuff. I've shared this before. And then they look alike, and a bunch of scientists one by one with their white coats, and only when the murderer comes in do the electrodes just go nuts. So
Wow.
yeah, the
He says
secret.
they're onto something. He says they're onto something in that movie.
Yeah. So are they? Do they? What are they communicating? Emotion, or are
Yes.
they communicating some sort of warning, or what?
Different senses. It's different senses. It's not necessarily emotion. You know how, good example, wolves, they howl, they're in packs, and they can warn another wolf when there's danger, right?
Yes.
Animals, there's howls, there's calls to warn. It's like that. There's a sensory, a connection, but it's not always warning. It could be there's food over here, or there's health over here,
Okay.
there's water over here. It's a communication of signal, a
Okay.
signal communication.
That's
He's
cool.
going back and forth on how to say it.
I've heard that about trees too, but before we go into that, um, did I just say this? Anyway, every time I go out and weed, I'm so sorry. So it's like, you don't belong here. Can you go? So anyway,
You
Eric,
feel
I
the
said it
energy
by
of it.
saying it's like a hair. Plants are more like a big collective, but it's like having a haircut to them. It's not no reason.
Yes,
So I had,
absolutely. But speaking on that subject of, when you do feel bad for pulling them out, it's because their energy, like you and I. What you can do is you could tell the plant to pull its energy back. And that
ah,
way it can prepare for what you're about to do. And that's exactly what happens.
okay, good. That's good. All right. So trees, I understand that people scientists have picked up some sort of communication, I don't know, ultrasound or whatever, between them, like when one is chopped down or whatever, it spreads warnings to the others or something like that.
Yes,
Remember.
it's accurate. And it is. It's a ultrasonic way of communication. We've got different ways of bringing levels of energy here. He's talking about sonar, scalar energy, different types of energy that's already created,
I
and
see.
how you can see what's being generated between a tree and a bush, how there's communication by the colors. He's showing like color rays, reds and greens changing. It's a way of communication.
Like an aura, like we let off different kinds
Yes.
that, that we can't see with unless we have
Yes, not with the physical eye,
eyes.
but with a sonic machine, some
Okay,
type of sonic machine.
all right. Or some aura detector or something. Yeah, energy detector.
Yes,
Cool.
yes,
Are there any emotions that trees have that are kind of human-like?
yes. A tree can birth just like a human can. They grow, they expand. Everything that is expanded is their family. It is the child. So when a part of that is cut off, it's like losing a child. They go through grief, they go through that type of emotion that you and I do. Um, they go through pain, they go through illness, very similar to you and I. They go through happiness, they go through sadness when the planet is in distress, uh, warmth, floods,
Yeah.
tornadoes. They feel all of this before it actually takes place. Uh, it's a it's a way of communicating that humans cannot connect with, but nature is connecting with this
Okay.
sixth or seventh sense.
All right. Are there any emotions that they have that we humans would not possibly understand?
Yes. The collective that here is using the word caring.
Okay.
We underestimate what the word caring means. Their term for caring is more of love, more of nurture, giving water to them, taking care of yourself, taking care of what's providing your shelter. Um, so they have a different way of understanding, not understanding, but how do I
Interpreting,
explain that?
conveying.
Yes, interpreting a word, kind of like English and Spanish, how there can be different, a word in Spanish can have a lot more meaning than the word in English. For existence, like
Oh,
love, it can be interpreted different. It can mean something completely different or something less.
yeah. It's like Inuits in Alaska or wherever have like a million different ways of saying snow. So I get that. All right. So pain level.
Yes.
being as how they have a very different nervous system, is physical pain to them pretty much like and the emotional reaction, if any, to that pain, is it similar to humans? Okay.
Identical.
Wow.
Identical.
So
There, Eric is showing the branch. So you have this trunk and then you have branches. Those branches, when you cut the sap that comes out is the blood of the tree. It is different from you and I. It's not going to be red. It's
yeah,
green, yellow.
different.
It
When I was
depends on the health of the tree.
when I
It's
was a
so
little kid and we played, we see like whitish, goldish goop coming on the out of the surface of the tree. We thought it was squirrel vomit. I don't know why. Whatever. All right, so
fun. Little blood and guts. You're so gross.
okay, oak wilt, a real problem, especially among live oaks here in Texas, and it's decimating, and it's spread by a fungus that is carried by a beetle that attacks the. What can we do about that? I mean, it's just taking so many live oaks down.
Humans are at a loss for this. There's not something that you can do that will not harm other species or other trees. He's talking about animals that will be harmed and nature that will be harmed. There's not a product that can stop this problem.
Okay, so it's nothing can happen. It's just bye-bye, live oaks.
He says nature has to take its course. What can humans do? He says they can start to bring more like water to forests, places that have droughts, finding a way of bringing it in to prevent these types of beetles from coming in during like your summer times, bringing additional waters.
Okay.
There's not like a chemical that can help this process. This is more of a,
Yeah.
you have to start with something that's going to be long-term instead of just like a one-day use and now it's fixed.
All right, so basically it's like the water, the nutrients, if they're out of balance, then they're more susceptible to the beetle attack, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
And
yes.
maybe we should just, if they die, do something to sterilize the soil,
With the
whatever.
tree,
Or put another tree in that's resistant.
yes, yes, replace it.
It's nothing like a
And
full live oak, though. God. All right. Are there any messages that the entire plant collective, only plants, only trees, both? I don't know. Do they have a message for us humans besides taking care of Mother Earth? We know that.
manage your health. She's talking to humans in general, the way we eat, the way we exercise, even your mental health. Managing your physical health will help you to manage the health of the earth.
Well, that
She
makes sense.
smiles. She smiles as she says that because she says, again, we're going back into the earth is important.
Yes, of course it is. Oh my God, yeah, we can't do without it. So what are you looking at? What does that collective energy look like to you?
This is a female that's here, very mother.
Mhm.
She has an actual figure with her, but it's not like human, like you and I, but this figure that I'm looking at is more of a marshmallow shape, but it's not marshmallowy, it's white. That's why I'm saying marshmallow. And I can see a figure. The figure is about 9 feet tall. It's very large. It's not little like human, but it has arms and legs. There's no eyes that I'm looking at. The way that it communicates is
Telepathic.
almost like telepathic, yes, but
Eric,
not exactly.
does she
It's
have
just
boobs? Eric, I'm sure you've looked. Kidding.
no. Like
Kidding.
her structure.
Me too.
He says I was answering the question, Mom.
I know. Very good job. Now, are there any messages? I've been really working hard to take care of my garden, but is there anything that they need that I'm not doing on my shrubs, lawn, whatever? Any little blips on the radar?
They want company, like little what are those called? Like genomemins, little things to put out there, not necessarily genome, but activity out there. They want something out there.
Okay. Like little figurines of
Yeah, birdhouses. Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
you've ever
Okay.
created a fairy garden, something of that
Okay.
nature.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Bonus question. What are the lessons one would learn by being incarnated as a plant?
Self-sufficient and independence. Because you're learning without a mother or a father. You're coming in single-handedly.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. How is the spirit of a plant made up?
Just like you and I, you decide what you want to come in for.
Okay.
Source creates identities for, he's titling it like doctors, lawyers, um, healers.
Yeah.
There's categories, and you're going to do something that's similar to that with just about all of your incarnations.
Okay.
Uh, and so he says that your soul decides what you want to do, essentially.
All right. All right. She asked, like grass, is it one collective soul, or is it one soul per root system, or is it one soul per square foot? You know, whatever. I mean, how's that?
One,
Just
it
one
is one
collect-
collective soul. It's turned into a branch of franchise. It's almost had hybrids. You're funny. You're not funny though.
Good
He's over
job.
here talking. He is. It's created different hybrids, different species of grass other with other plants. And so he says that it's still one conscious, one root, but there's different types of it.
Oh
But it
yeah.
doesn't change the collective of it or the consciousness of it. It's simply expanded, kind of like from a baby to an adult. You know how you learn, and as an adult, you're very wise, right? Or you
Yeah.
should be when you're a grandma. You're not nice to some people, but it's like that. It's, it expands.
Okay. So, when you say a collective consciousness, are you talking about all vegetation, even trees, or in other?
Just grass, just grass
Wait, what
specifically.
about the trees or other things? Just trees.
The trees have a collective consciousness within itself. It is not like it's connected to all, it is connected to all other trees and all other plants, but it does not identify with that same DNA. It has a different DNA, a different collective to it, but at the same time as it's connected to all of everything else, it still has its own identity like humans, like you and I do.
Oh, like
It
we are.
has a masculine and a feminine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It has the masculine and the feminine side of it, that whole aspect of it.
All right. So it's like us. We have our individual soul, but we're also whole and part of the collective, right? Is that what?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And I guess our collective is, connected to their collective. I guess it's all energy anyway, but we won't go there. Last category, reptiles and amphibians. Snakes, turtles, lizards, frogs, salamanders, water dogs, alligators. Okay. Basically, what's it like to be, let's start with, well, you could say the reptiles first, then the amphibians next. Like, what are the main emotions? What's day-to-day life like as a reptile first?
We're going to go with the snake first.
Okay.
They're all very different and very unique. Snakes are very survival of the fittest. It's very territorial. You know, when somebody's on edge, they are always on edge. He's trying to
Oh,
explain this as with human emotion.
yeah.
They're a species that's edgy. They're a species that doesn't trust. It's nature and not nature, natural to them.
Okay.
And so a lot of people misunderstand them because they think that they can be very vicious or mean,
Yeah.
but it's just their identity due to the structure of their life, how they have to live.
Ugh. So they're kind of
Yeah.
apprehensive. Okay, what about turtles? And yeah, turtles. Yeah.
They don't have emotions like you and I. They are more on a schedule. You know, there's like hibernation with bears, there's mating times. They follow temperatures,
Yeah.
not so much I'm smart in my mind. They're following changes, weather changes. That is very smart of the mind to be able to do that. But you know how we can have conversations? They don't have that word for word conversation. It's very different.
Like what?
He says fish. But I'm trying to explain to him that I need an example of how a fish would think. Very short-term Dory. They have a very short-term mind. They can see something, and if it's out of their sight, then they lose track of it.
Okay.
Like that.
Not a sound. Maybe I'm part turtle. Big. What about lizards? You know, iguanas, all that, bearded dragons, etc., etc.
He's tapping into the energy of the iguana first. He says they're both very similar. Iguanas are very loving. He says it's not something that you would be able to connect to. They're very territorial over their youngs, and it's a nature of love, not necessarily threat. The way that they perceive love is different from you and I, human. Their love is more of like protection, essentially.
Okay. Interesting. But I know that a lot of people who own iguanas and whatnot get really attached. Like it's almost like they say that they show affection to humans. Is that
They
true?
do. It's true because they're very loving in nature. And, you know, like, think about you and your baby. If you were to feed your child, love your child, they're going to obviously bond with you. So when you bond like that with your iguana, they're going to bond with you in that loving nurture way. And they're going to have that territorial. A great example, even if its owner is in distress and it's a larger one, it's going to do something to protect its owner,
Oh, wow.
like a dog.
So the nurturing toward a human is more protective, or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as it's made a bond, Erik quotes, it's bond
Yes.
and not something that you're going into,
Yeah.
the forest and you're encountering and you're going to go give it a big hug. Not so loving.
What about frogs? Frogs and toads. I don't know if that's the same category, but
They're very important to ecosystem.
oh yeah.
They're very smart. A lot of people misunderstand them. They're not your average Dory. They're actually very smart. They come in with the purpose of um, offsprings, mating,
Okay.
and keeping that system going. That is their purpose. It's for the ecosystem.
All
They
right.
do not have emotions like anger, sadness. They are hungry. They are searching to live. That is simply it. And when they're hungry, they don't have emotions of, you know how some people can get really moody when they're hungry? They don't have that.
They don't get
Yes.
food.
There you go. No, this is more of just like, let's search, let's go for a meal, because that emotion is not there. They have a job, they know what they need to do, they get to it.
Okay. What about salamanders?
These have a lot of emotion and they're very smart, loving, and nurturing.
Kind of like
Uh,
iguanas. Is it pretty much the same, or?
Very similar to iguanas. They have medicinal purposes with them. He is talking about the cells within the salamander having medicinal purposes for inflammation. Um, but he's going on another topic with that. He says, we're talking about emotions. And so, yes, very similar to iguana.
Okay.
It's going to
So,
connect to you on an intimate level.
all right. Well, we'll talk about the healing thing of all these things, but let's talk about the last one, which is alligators and crocodiles. I guess I don't. Whatever. Probably the same category. I don't know.
They are same category.
Okay. Emotion.
Primal, they have a lot of emotions and they have a lot of primal instinct with them. A lot like the toad and the frog, they have a job, they know what they're here to do. They are focusing on survival, but they are also focusing on mating and expanding. Crocodiles specifically have a collective mission right now to bring more of their race into the earth. They help with population control when it comes to the waters. It can also become a problem if it becomes too expanded or too polluted.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people buy these exotic snakes and get tired of them because they get gigantic and throw them in the swamp, and
Yeah.
maybe that's one of the jobs for them to
Yes,
take care of that.
to fix what humanity has messed up.
Yeah. Are alligators, do they have a maternal quality to them or not? Or no?
Not so much, no.
Okay.
Um, they do have, they're not very schedule oriented. The only thing that would be schedule oriented would be mating. Other than that, it's not.
Okay. Almost finished. Um, any of these things have healing properties? The any of them? The frogs, the toads,
All of them do.
oh, really?
Frogs, frogs and toads have very similar medicine. He says it depends on what your outlook is on medication. He says there's substances that have been created to produce you to go into a different state of mind using,
Oh, you like lick the toad. What is that?
yeah, like poison,
That? Toad licking.
the poison that the animals extract or
Yes.
that they put out.
Yeah.
Not only that, he says there's also using their cells, stem cell therapy, and putting it into humans. He says that it helps when it comes to cancers, breast cancers, bone cancers specifically,
Wow.
colon cancers. These are cancers that there's not a lot.
Yeah.
He did something right there. So you might want to listen to your audio on your video.
Uh-oh. I heard something. So are you
How
talking
many
about frogs or toads? Or
both
any specific type?
frogs that extract poison,
Okay,
but
poison frogs. Yeah.
yes, even ones that are not, the cells in them, you can extract their cells and do stem cell therapy.
That
He
is
did it again. I'm picking up his feedback, his voice on my.
That's gonna be cool. We'll look at it. Y'all, everybody look. We'll try to figure out what it is. Send me the timestamp if you can. All right, any others that we've talked about that have, well, salamander, you said inflammation. Anything else?
Depression,
Cool.
anxiety, bipolar disease. He says if you get down to the actual roots of these animals and you can extract the properties within them without harming them, there's a lot that you can create. He says that this takes away from pharmaceutical medicine and it takes away from being able to create new things that are not given to you by earth. That's why this is not something that is uh, researched upon much.
Yeah, it's too bad. So it's
We're coming into a time now where it's happening.
good. The cells of the salamander, is it the cells that you can harvest a little bit, and put it?
Yes, within the blood.
Oh, in the blood. Okay, okay, got it. All right, so are any of these extraterrestrial in origin, like the jellyfish was and this octopus?
Our frog,
Okay, all of
the
them?
toad, the frog, the toad,
Okay,
species in general, yes.
okay,
There was something that was like a frog. It was hybrid. It had something else that it mated with to
okay.
give it more life, to give it more ability to clean up your ecosystem.
Oh, good.
Almost like a better immune system.
Wait, to bring us a better immune system or the
No, to
ecosystem?
bring them a better immune system so they could take care of our ecosystem.
God, yeah. All right, so uh, what about these animals? Do they experience pain and reaction to pain, emotional reaction like we do?
Not emotional reaction, no, they do not have that. Oh my God, what's happening? I'm losing a limb. No, but they do experience pain in the sense of my hands being cut, but it's not a distressful pain.
Okay. Does it hurt when a chameleon, for example, it loses its tail?
Yes, it does.
Oh God.
Um, and it's for an iguana, no, it does not. For a chameleon, yes, it does. They're different. Chameleon is more connected on a cell and blood, like vessels. They've got more human structure to them.
Yeah. All right. So, what they can regenerate too. That's kind of cool. Is that something that can be beneficial to humans?
Yes, because it can be used to help regenerate the liver, placing
Hmm.
that aspect of salamander, even placing the cell from the blood into our blood will help to regenerate the human liver.
Do they do anything? Is that available yet, or are they studying it?
Yes, it's being studied.
And no, it's not available, probably.
No, it's not available.
Okay.
He says this is something that is going to come in other countries first.
Okay. What message would amphibian reptiles as a collective give to us humans?
Don't don't alarm us, and we won't alarm you. They feel the fear that you feel towards them, and that's what they act off of.
Mhm.
So kind
It's
of
not
like love
safe.
me and I'll love you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Uh, bonus question: can they feel love for their companions, their pet owners? And yeah, we said that for, but it's kind of like a protective one for iguanas. That's pretty much
Yes.
it, right?
Yes, they do. They feel compassion, love, and attachment. When their owner goes away out of state for, say, like 3 days, the
Yeah.
animal goes into distress because they are no longer seeing that
Oh,
um, connection. It's connection that they're connecting with.
okay, so they need connection. Anything else you want to share about all these animals we've talked about and plants and stuff?
No,
Wow.
ma'am. Eric says, you're good, Mama. You covered a lot.
Well, she didn't give anything about any questions about insects, but we've covered that somewhere else. So, all right. Thank you, guys. Y'all hit the notification bell first so that you don't miss content like this in the future. And check out Raylene at angelmedium7.com. I'll put that right here. Love you, Eric. Love you, Raylene. Take care.
I love you, Mama. Thank you. You too. Eric says, bye, everybody.
Bye
Thanks for
bye.
watching. Bye.
Bye.